Rochelle Diaz, and one of our fearless leaders at corporate home office. So we've had a couple issues with some people with compliance and some things come up, and Lola's taken some text messages. Rochelle and Carlos has taken some text messages from people, and so Rochelle and I thought no better person to invite to this call is someone in home office that knows about compliance, that's connected with compliance. And so we invited Geraldo here tonight to just have a conversation. And we're not going to just, Geraldo's not going to just drone on and on about boring compliance because we know compliance can be really, really boring. We're just going to kind of ask him some questions. And so the way we're going to do this is like the first, 35, 40 minutes we're going to ask Geraldo some questions, and then around 6:40 or so, we want to open it up for you guys to ask some questions. You can put it in the chat or unmute yourself to ask questions if you want some clarification around anything. So, Geraldo, Rochelle, thank you guys so much for being here. Thanks for doing this with me, Rochelle. I just, compliance is a boring thing, but it's a really important thing to make sure that you're doing the right thing because it protects the company, it protects your livelihood, it protects the consumer. And so we just want to make sure that this opportunity stays alive and we don't do anything that's going to taint it in any way. So, again, what we'd like for you guys to do is to share this with as many people on your team as possible so that we can get this message out there and everyone knows what they can and they can't do inside of this business. Because the thing is we have another regulatory body. It's called the FTC, and they keep a very, very close eye on every single thing that we do, every claim that we make, be it income, be it the patch. So we just want to make sure that we're never doing anything. And also, you don't want to get a message one day or an email from the company saying that your account's shut down because you did something that you didn't know about. So we just want to educate you and give you that information. So, Geraldo, very excited to be with you tonight, man. Thanks for doing this for us. I really, really appreciate you taking the time out of your busy, busy schedule to have this conversation with us.
Of course. No, thank you so much, Jay, for having me. I know this meeting is going to be a little interactive. We're going to go between you, Jay, and with Rochelle. I know we may be switching language as well. So you let me know how we can get started. And I'm so excited to be here with all of you.
Yeah, so if you want to speak Spanish, being that you know how to speak Spanish, I'll be the only person speaking English and answering questions, and then Rochelle will speak to you in Spanish. We have interpretation, so I'll be able to understand, and any of my English contacts will be able to understand. So we'll just kick it off. We'll just get right into it, Geraldo. So I guess the main overall arching question is, what is compliance as far as in the way Lifeway sees it? And why is it so important?
Well, that's a great question, Jay. And I think what I'm going to do as well as I get started, I think I'm going to switch over to interpretation in Spanish as well. So then when I can hear the question come through, I can actually know when to start responding. So let me do
Okay.
that real quick. Perfecto. Ok. Buenas tardes, buenas
Perfect.
noches a
Okay. Good
todos. No sé
afternoon,
dónde
good
están
evening,
en el
everyone. I
mundo,
don't
pero
know in
les
which part
mando
of
un
the world you
saludo
are, but
muy
I'm sending
especial a
you
todos.
a
Aquí
very special
saludos desde
greeting to
Orlando,
everybody.
la
Saludos.
Florida.
Welcome.
Y Jay me
Greetings
acaba de
from
hacer la
Orlando,
pregunta,
Florida. And Jay
¿qué es
just asked me the
el
question,
departamento cumplimientos
which
y
is
por qué es
what
algo tan
is the Department of
importante
Compliance
en
and
nuestra
why is it
empresa, en
so
nuestra
important in our
industria?
company,
Y realmente es
in our
algo
industry?
que
And
está ahí
truthfully,
para
this is something
protegernos
that
como
is there to
empresa,
protect us
protegerlos
as
a
a company,
ustedes
to
como
protect
socios
you
independientes
as
de Lifeway.
independent business
Para
partners
mí,
of
les
Lifewave.
cuento, tuve la
And for
oportunidad
me,
hace
I have to
muchos
tell you that I
años
had the
de
opportunity many
trabajar en el
years ago
departamento de
to work
cumplimientos
in the
y
compliance
vi lo
department.
bueno, lo
And
malo,
I
lo
saw
feo,
the
de
good, the
todo.
bad, the
Y
ugly.
algo que
I
me di
saw
cuenta en los
everything.
últimos años es lo
And something that I
sumamente
saw in the last
importante que es de
years
tener un
is
equipo
how important
en
it
el lado
is
de
to have a
cumplimientos, en el
team
lado
in the
legal de la
compliance team,
empresa,
in the legal
porque al final
side of
del
the
día
company.
nosotros como
Because at the
empresa,
end
como
of the
equipo
day, as a
corporativo,
company, as a
estamos
corporate
100%
team, we
enfocados
are
en tener una
100%
oportunidad
focused
especial para
in
cada
having
uno
a
de
special
ustedes,
opportunity for
para
each one
tenerlos
of you
muchos, muchos años,
to be
décadas
able to
en
have
el
it for
futuro,
many, many
pero al
years
final
and
del día,
decades in
como
the future. But at
mencionó
the end of the day,
Jay al
like
comienzo,
Jay
aquí
mentioned at
en
the beginning
Estados
of the
Unidos
call,
y cada país
here
tiene
in the
sus
US and
equipos
each country has their
en el lado
own
de regulaciones, en el
compliance
lado
and
de
regulations
cumplimientos, pero aquí
teams.
en Estados Unidos hay
But
dos
here in the
organizaciones
US, there are two
principales.
organizations
Una
which
se
are the
llama el
main ones.
FDA
One is
y el
called the
otro se
FDA,
llama el
and the other
FTC.
one is the
El
FTC.
FDA
The
enfoca más
FDA
en el lado del
focuses
producto
mostly
para
on the
proteger
product side to be able
la gente
to
en el lado de
protect the
productos, en lo que
consumers
están tomando, usando
who
a
are
su día a
using or
día. Y en el lado de
consuming the product in their
FTC,
day
ellos
to
están
day. In the
más
FTC side,
encargados en el
they
lado de
are mostly
asegurarse
in
que en el
charge
lado
of assuring
financiero, en el
that
lado
the
de no
financial
hacer,
aspect, the
decir cosas
aspect
que no
of
se deben
not
decir, en el
saying
lado
things
de
that you should not
que tiene que
say,
ver con el dinero del
uh,
negocio. Ellos están ahí
about the
para
business, about
asegurarse que las
money. They are there
empresas
to make
estén
sure that
haciendo las
companies
cosas
are
correctas.
doing
Entonces, de nuestra
things
parte,
correctly.
me
So
encanta
on
tener
our
este tipo de
side,
llamadas con
I
nuestros
love to
socios
have this kind
porque
of calls
eso muestra en
with
el lado
our
que nosotros estamos trabajando como
partners
equipo,
because
¿verdad?
this
Nosotros
shows
en el
that we
lado
are working as
corporativo
a team
estamos
at the corporate
asegurándonos que
side.
estamos haciendo lo
We are
máximo que
assuring
podemos
that we're
para
doing the
proteger la
maximum we
compañía
can to
y
protect the
todos ustedes
company.
como nuestros
And
queridos
all of
socios
you,
están ahí en el
like
campo todos los
our
días
dear partners who
sabiendo que
are
están
there
haciendo
in the
las
field
cosas
every day,
como la
knowing that they are
compañía
doing
pide
things how
y
the
ahí en
company
el largo plazo pues es
requires
la
to be
empresa que
able to
tenemos
have a healthy
y queremos
company
seguir
in the
teniendo
long
por
term and the
muchos,
company
muchos
that we
años.
currently have and we
Entonces,
want
el
to have
departamento
during
de
many more years.
cumplimientos
So the
siempre va a estar
compliance
ahí para
department
estar
will
al
always
tanto, al
be
día
there
en lo que
to
va cambiando las leyes para
know
asegurarnos que
on
nosotros
how
estamos
laws
transmitiéndole
are
a ustedes la
changing, to be updated
información
on
para que
legislation, to
estemos
transmit
todos
the
en la misma
information to
página
you,
y
for all
saber
of
qué
us to
se
be on the
puede y qué no
same
se puede
page and to know
hacer
what you can
y
do and
para
what you
mantener
shouldn't do,
este negocio lo
and to
más
maintain our
parejo
business
para todo mundo y lo
as
más
equal as possible for everybody
honesto para todo
and
mundo
as
en hacer este
honest as
negocio
possible and
a nivel
transparent so everybody
mundial.
can work this
Entonces,
business at a
espero que
global
eso les dé
level.
un poco
So
la
I hope
idea,
that
lo
this gives
importante
you
que es de
an
asegurarnos
idea of
de
how
seguir
important it is
las
to assure
políticas de la
that
empresa y
we
estar
follow the
trabajando
policies
juntos a
of
día
the
a día
company and to work
en
together
seguir creciendo
day to
Lifewave
day
por
in
todo el mundo.
continuing working
Me
Lifewave all
encanta,
over the
Gerardo, que
world.
hayas podido explicar
I
así
loved,
resuelta y además
Gerardo, that you were able to
agradecerte hoy de nuevo,
explain
como lo hizo
things
el
like this
departamento
and
de
also
equipo,
to
porque queremos hacer
appreciate
las
your
cosas
presence here,
bien,
like Jay
definitivo, y
said,
queremos estar
and
alineados con lo
our
que para
gratitude from the whole team because we
compañía
want to do things
es
correctly, definitely. We want
importante
to be
para la
aligned with what is
compañía
important
y
for the
que
company,
lleguemos
which is
lejos.
being in compliance because we
Pero también hay
understand the
ciertas
importance of this.
informaciones que a lo mejor
And there are also
no
certain
tenemos ordenación o a
information
veces
that
se
we
nos
might not
olvida.
normally
Y vamos a
work
compartir
on because
algo
of
en
the
las redes
excitement that
sociales,
Latins
hablando
have.
de redes sociales.
And we're going to
Las
share
redes
something on
sociales hoy en
social
día,
media.
además
And
de
talking
ser
about social media,
grandes y
social media
importantes de
nowadays
estar
is one of the
de
greatest
atraer personas
ways
al
of connecting with
negocio, al
people and attracting
producto, a la
people to the
oportunidad,
business,
todo, a ser parte
to
de
the
esta gran
product, to the
comunidad.
opportunity
¿Qué es lo
of
que
this
no
great
puedo
community.
y sí puedo decir y
What is it
hacer
that I
en
can
las
or
redes
cannot
sociales?
say and do,
Porque lo
okay,
que
on social media?
queremos definitivamente es
Because
ser
what we
ejemplo y
want
por
to
eso dijimos,
definitely
bueno, hay que
is to
hacerlo
understand this. And
para que
that's why
quede
we said we
grabada, para
have
que
to do
quede
this
para todas
call.
las
So
personas que
it's
entraron a
recorded. So
empezar
it's
y
recorded here
verla
for all the
una
people who
y
are
otra
new
vez. ¿Qué se
and to
puede
see
y
it
qué no
once
decir y
and
hacer
again.
en las redes
What
sociales?
can you say or not say in social media?
No se oye, está en mute.
You're on mute. Sorry. We
Sí,
can't hear you.
Haroldo, estás en mute. Sorry.
Perdón,
Geraldo,
perdón,
sorry, you're
perdona.
muted. Oh,
Y por
I'm
eso
sorry.
cuando me
I'm
pongo
sorry.
en
I
mute
apologize.
para
Sometimes I mute
asegurarnos
myself,
que no haya
so I
ningún
can
ruido
assure
raro del
that
otro
there's no
lado.
like
No,
background
muchas
noise
gracias,
from
Raquel.
my
Muy
side.
buena pregunta
Okay, thank
y
you
lo
very
que me
much, Rochelle.
encanta
That's a great
es que
question. And
este
what
equipo
I
tiene
love
un equipo de
is that
liderazgo
this
que
team
está
has a leadership
sumamente
team that is incredibly
le importa tanto el equipo, quieren asegurarse que todo el mundo esté en buen camino, como
in the
mencionó
same
Rachel,
symphony,
en el lado
in the same
de
tune,
hoy en
like
día
Rochelle said.
usando
We all want to walk the same path and make
distintas
sure
plataformas como
that
Facebook,
even
Instagram.
though we use
Hoy en
different
día para
platforms
mí
like
es
Facebook and
increíble
Instagram,
como yo puedo
we
estar
understand
aquí en
how we should use
Orlando,
it. It's amazing
puedo
that I
poner
can
una
be here
foto
in
en
Orlando
Instagram
and I
y en
can
lo que
post a
es
picture in
segundos ya
Instagram,
gente
and
por
in
todo el
seconds there are
mundo
people
pueden
all
ver
over the planet
esa foto, ¿verdad?
seeing
Entonces,
that
para
picture.
mí, la
So
tecnología
for
es
me, the
algo muy,
technology,
es increíble.
this technology is something
A cada
amazing.
semana, cada mes va
Each
apareciendo
week,
cosas
each month,
nuevas
there are
y
new
nosotros como empresa
things in the
entendemos que esa
technology world.
es
And
una
as a
forma
company,
de conectar
we
al mundo,
see
¿verdad?
that
Entonces,
there is
a
a way
través de
here that
estas
we can connect
plataformas sabemos
the
que
world,
hay gente
sorry.
que
So through these
ha crecido
platforms,
puede tener un seguimiento
we
muy
can see
grande
that there
o
is
un
a way that we
seguimiento
can do a
normal,
follow-up.
pero al final del día es un seguimiento de gente que está viendo
And
el
at the end of
contenido
the
que
day,
estás
it's just following up with
compartiendo con
people who
ellos.
are seeing the content
Entonces,
that you're
para
sharing
nosotros
with
como
them
empresa
online. So
queremos estar
for
muy
us as a
alineados con
company, we
nuestros
want to be
socios
very
y que
aligned
sepan que
with
ciertas
our
cosas que tenemos que
business
tener
partners,
cuidado
and we want
inicialmente cuando
to
salió la
know
idea
that different things that we have to take care of, especially when we thought about this call in specific about compliance. Jay said, look, we have a team that is doing an amazing job, that are growing really fast and have a very big desire to grow here in Lifewave. But me as a leader and Rachel and Carlos, we want to make sure that we're doing the best we can to be able to communicate to our team what it is that you can do and what you cannot do. And as a company, what we can improve. I think that it's important to always see how we improve in our communication. I love that we can always talk in details about things like this. And we've seen that in the past, there has been people with problems with the compliance department receiving an email saying, look, we saw this and this other thing. But what I wanted to mention to you is that currently we're using a lot of AI or artificial intelligence to be able to assist us in our work and to make sure that we're doing things correctly. So, for example, in the platforms of social media and so on, like we always say, there are certain words that the algorithm, I don't know how you say that in Spanish, but there are certain words, certain phrases that our system can search for all around the world in different platforms, on internet in general, and can identify certain words, certain phrases that FTA or FTC are not very fanatical of those words and those phrases because they want to make sure that people are selling or sharing information in the correct way. And they're not promising enormous or exaggerated promises like we've seen many times. We see things on the internet that every once in a while we're like, hey, now that person has to be careful with that. So to give you a couple of examples about this with the FDA to start, the FDA, like I mentioned, is very dedicated on the hand of illnesses and making affirmations that we are, for example, saying certain words that you cannot use. And I'm going to give you some examples, but obviously all of us here are adults already. We can have different ideas about certain words that we know that we shouldn't be using. But for example, if I put on my page, oh, I found a solution to cure my cancer. You know that what you're saying is very serious, right? Obviously, we cannot say that we're going to cure or treat any kind of illnesses. So what I want to suggest on this call is to totally avoid any name of illnesses or any other thing of the sort, okay? That is the first step to saying, okay, look, it is a disease. We know that FDA is always very attent and searching who speaks specifically about diseases because currently we have a very big group in the pharmaceutical world, in the doctors world, who are part of that platform. They are trying to improve diseases, and if they arrive naturally, for example, supplements, what we have with our technology in an alternative way to the traditional medication. That is what the FDA searches for day and night. They're searching for names of diseases. So completely avoid that immediately. For example, I want to let you know what you can say. I don't want to say what you only what you cannot say, but what can you say, okay? So let me give you an example. If I was a person that has been for years and years with an illness and I say, look, I have this disease and this problem and this and that, and now I found something and now I'm better. This is something that the organization like the FDA is not going to like. But if I talk about my story, I have a picture, I have my patch, and it's just an example. I know that you have leaders like Rachel, Carlos, and Jay that do an excellent job in how to share and use those examples of how they share. But I want to give you an example, okay? I am not the
en el
expert
social media, pero
in social media,
una idea.
but
Si yo tengo una
okay,
foto
let
que
me
pongo
tell
y estoy
you an
contando un
idea.
poco
If
de
I
mi
have an
historia,
image, okay, and
tengo la
I
foto
post a
con el
picture and I
parche,
talk about my
es
story and
muy
my picture is
distinto
with my
decir,
patch,
ah, tenía
it's
todos estos
very different
problemas,
to
tenía
say,
esta
oh, I used to
enfermedad
have
y hoy
all
en
these
día,
problems,
después
I
de
used
un
to have
mes
this illness,
usando el
and
parche,
now
ya he
after one
mejorado,
month using the patch,
encuentran
I'm
el
doing
cáncer
better.
más en mi cuerpo, lo que es
They
la
can't find
enfermedad.
cancer in my
Eso es
body
algo que
anymore or the
no va a
illness.
estar bien.
This is
Pero
something that is
cambiemos
not
un
going
poco
to
la
happen. But let's
historia
change the story a bit
y en cómo compartimos el
and
mensaje.
say
Si yo tengo el
how,
parche
talk
y
about
estoy
how we
mostrando
share
una
the
foto
message.
mía
If I have the
y digo,
patch and I'm
mira,
showing you a
en
picture
los
now and I tell
últimos
you, look,
años
in the last
me
years,
faltaba la energía,
I didn't have
no
energy.
estaba siendo
I
el mejor papá
wasn't
porque salía del
the
trabajo y
best
no
father
tenía las
because
fuerzas
I
para
didn't
jugar con
have
mis
energy
hijos,
after work
no
to
me
play with
sentía
my
que estaba
children.
siendo buen
I
marido
didn't
porque
feel I
no
was a good
podía ayudar
husband
a mi
because I couldn't help
esposa,
my wife
siempre
out.
estaba así
At
cansado, no tenía
home, I
así,
was always tired.
no había el sentido, digamos,
And, I just didn't
de
see
seguir
the
porque
reason of
no tenía las
continuing like
fuerzas
this
más.
because I
Y
didn't
un
have
día
the
un
energy
amigo
to do
me
this. And
compartió, no
one
estoy
day my
hablando algo muy
friend
largo,
shared with
pero
me, I know this is very long, but
resumido, obvio, con
let's
este tipo de plataforma que
just
hemos tenido
summarize
y
this with these kinds
resumidos
of
también.
platforms
Pero
where
yo digo,
we
mira,
always
un amigo compartió
summarize
el
our
parche
information, right?
conmigo,
A
me
friend
empecé a dar
shared the patch
cuenta que
with me, and I
ahora
started
tenía esa
realizing
energía, que me sentía
that now
mejor,
I
me
did have that
despertaba,
energy, that I felt
estaba llevando a
better,
mis hijos nuevamente
that
al
I would wake
colegio, estaba
up
jugando con
better, that I
deporte
was taking my kids
nuevamente.
to school
No he
again, that
dicho
I was
nada de
doing
una
sports
enfermedad,
again.
pero estoy
I
compartiendo
haven't
la
spoken
historia de
about
cuando
any
tenía una
illness, but I am
situación que no
sharing the
estaba muy
story of
bien
a
y
situation that I
encontré
was
el
going
parche
through
que
and I
ahora
wasn't doing too
me
well, and I
siento que
found this
estoy de
patch,
regreso
which now
siendo el
makes me
padre,
feel
siendo el
that
esposo
I'm
que yo
back to
era
being the
antes.
father and
Eso
the
es algo
husband that I
muy
used to
distinto
be.
de compartir
Okay,
mi
this is
historia
something very
en
different
usar
to
nombres de
sharing my
enfermedades,
story and using names
porque
of
todo el mundo es distinto,
illnesses
¿verdad?
and
En el lado
diseases because everybody
biológico, en
is
el
different,
lado
right? In the
del cuerpo, todo el
biological
mundo
area
puede
and the
tener
body
resultados distintos
and
uno del otro. Entonces,
metabolism,
por
we can all
eso
have
tenemos que
different
tener
results
cuidado en
once and
cómo
others. So that's why we
transmitimos el
have to
mensaje,
be careful
pero
on how we transmit the message.
eventualmente con todo
But
esto
eventually,
resumido
with
es
all this
evitando nombres de enfermedades,
summarized, it's to
evitando cualquier
avoid
cosa que
names of
primero
illnesses,
aplazó
to avoid
estos
saying
tipos
it
de
cured,
palabras es
it
exactamente
treated.
lo que
These
el
types
FDA
of
está
words is
buscando
exactly what the
diariamente
FDA is
y
searching for
podemos
every day.
cambiar esto para a
And
una
we can
historia
change this to a
compartiendo nuestra
story,
historia. Queremos que la gente
sharing
comparta
our
sus
story.
historias,
We
pero en el
want
mundo
people to share their
digital
stories,
es
but
solo
in the
tener mucho
digital
cuidado
world,
porque
we
eso
have to
está
be
en el
very
mundo entero
careful
y se
because
puede
that is
encontrar
in
muy
the whole world
fácilmente
and
y
you can
queremos
find it
evitar
very
esas
easily. And we
circunstancias
want to
de
avoid
aparentemente
these
cumplimientos
circumstances of the Department of
llamándoles la
Compliance
atención. Espero que
calling our
eso pudo
attention.
ser una
Okay,
respuesta
I hope
larga,
this was, I know it was a long
Rachel,
answer,
pero
but
espero que eso
Rachel, but I
ayudó a
hope
tener
this
mejor en
can help
mente
to
qué se
have
puede
a
decir y qué no
clearer
se puede
image of
decir.
what you can say
Claro,
and what
me
you cannot
gusta,
say.
Jay, I'm sorry, let me just add one more thing. Me
Jay, sorry, let me add
encantaría
one more thing.
saber
I would
brevemente
love
cuando
also if you
usamos
could
testimonios
briefly,
de otras
when
personas.
we
¿Se
show
pueden usar
other people's
testimonios de otros?
testimonials, can we use other people's
Esa es
testimonials?
una buena pregunta. En general,
That is a
si
great
estamos hablando de
question.
persona
In
a
general,
persona,
if we're
estoy
talking
hablando
from person to
con
person,
mi mejor
if
amigo
I'm
y
talking
estoy,
with my
mira,
best friend
esta
and I'm
historia
like, okay, look,
de tal
this
persona.
story
En
of
general, cuando
this
estamos
person,
persona a persona, el FDA no
generally
puede
when it's
venir atrás de
person to
nosotros
person,
porque
the
es
FDA cannot
estamos
go
teniendo una
after
conversación, no
you
es que
because
tenemos
you're
el
having a
FDA ahí con un micrófono
conversation.
al lado de
It's not like
nosotros.
the FDA
Entonces,
is next to
compartir
us
la
with a
historia
microphone,
está bien.
So
Lo
sharing
que
the
es
story
tener
is
cuidado es
fine.
en el
Being
mundo
careful
digital
is in the
ir y poner
digital
los
world to
testimonios
go
de
out
otras
and to share
personas.
other
Es
people's
algo que sí
testimonials
tenemos que
is
tener cuidado
something that we
porque
do have to
en
be
los ojos
careful
de
with
ellos nosotros podemos
because
tener nuestro
in their
testimonio
eyes we
personal,
can have
pero
our
no
own
podemos, en
personal
otras palabras,
testimonial,
estar hablando
but in other words, we
por
cannot
otra
be
persona,
talking
porque
about
esa otra persona
talking for
podemos
another person
puede salir cualquier
because
cosa, no
maybe
puede
that
ser la
other
historia
person,
exactamente como
the
era.
story might not be
Entonces, tener
exactly
cuidado
how
con
it was.
eso,
So we have to be
les
careful with that.
recomiendo en el lado
I
digital,
recommend
pero
in
si
the
están
digital
hablando
area.
con un amigo de la
But if
infancia
you're
y saben de
talking
alguien
with
del
a
equipo
friend
C
that
que
you have
estaba
since you were a
en una
child
situación
and
similar,
you know that they were
sí,
in a
claro,
similar
compartan esa
situation, sure,
historia
you
y
can share that
para ayudarlos
story
a entender cómo los
to
puede
help
ayudar a
them
ellos también.
understand how it can help them one too.
So, Rochelle, that was a great question. You actually took the question because I was going to kind of go off script here. No, 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 no. It's an amazing question. I was the same thing thought in my head. So I just, Geraldo, I still want just a little bit more clarification on this because I think this is where people could get in trouble the most. So let's say someone does a testimonial online, or they give us a testimonial and they say something about this patch. I just want to be clear. If they're saying that it helped cure something or it helped them with an illness, even though it's a testimonial that someone else shared, we cannot reshare that testimonial on social media, correct?
Correcto, exactamente eso.
Exactly.
Tenemos que tener, es una línea
Correct.
muy fina.
We have to, it's a
Como
very
mencionó
fine
Rachel,
line.
podemos tener
Like
así
Rachel
un
mentioned,
ánimo. Cuando
we
empiecen
can,
a ver esos
when you
resultados,
start seeing those
parece
results,
la gente quiere hablar,
people want to
compartir,
talk
pero es
about it,
algo
they
donde
want to
tenemos que
share
tener
it, but
mucho
it's something where
cuidado
we have to
en no
be
compartir
careful.
testimonios
Do
de
not
otras personas.
share
Deja a la persona
testimonials from other
compartir su
people.
testimonio
Let the person share
en
their
línea, pero en
testimonial
persona
online,
es una
but in
conversación y pueden
person, it
compartir la
is
historia de
a
otros cuando
conversation
están
and you can share other
personalmente,
people's
yo con un
stories
amigo en una
personally.
mesa
Like me
conversando.
with a friend
Eso es
sitting down,
distinto
having
a
a conversation
poner
at
una
a table
historia
is
enfrente del
different
mundo
to
entero en
having a
una
story in front
plataforma
of the
como
whole world
Instagram,
in a
como
platform
Facebook.
like Instagram,
Es
like
algo que ahí es
Facebook.
donde sí
It
tenemos
is
que
something
tener
where we have to
ese cuidado.
be careful.
Okay. So I'm gonna combine two well, actually, I'll let Rochelle ask it because her is on. Can I sell Lifewave products on websites like Amazon or eBay?
Muy buena pregunta,
That
Jay.
is a
Esto
great
es algo que,
question,
como
Jay.
mencioné
That
al
is something like
principio,
I mentioned that I
nuestra,
mentioned at the
nuestra
beginning.
empresa, nuestra
Our
oportunidad que
company,
tenemos aquí en
our
Lifewave es algo
opportunity
que
in
queremos
LifeWave
mantenerlo
is something we
un
want to
campo
maintain
bien parejo,
in
un
a
campo que
very
sea igual para todos.
balanced field. We want it
Amazon,
to be the same
eBay,
for
esos
everyone.
sitios en
Amazon,
línea que
eBay,
venden,
those
es
online
algo que la compañía
portals that sell,
decidió
that is
hace
something
mucho
that the company a
tiempo
long
no
time ago decided
participar
not to
en eso,
participate in,
no dejar a nuestros socios
to not
vender el
leave
producto en ese tipo de
our
plataforma porque
distributors
eh,
the
en esas
possibility of selling the
plataformas,
products
si
on
yo
those
tengo una
platforms.
tienda
Because on those
propia
platforms,
de
if I have
Amazon
my own
y voy
Amazon
y
store,
vendo
for
el
example,
producto en línea,
and I
suceden varias
sell the
cosas,
product
pero lo
online,
que
there's a
hemos
few
visto en
things
la
that can
historia
happen. But what we've seen
de
in
la
the story
industria y de la
of
empresa
the
es que
industry and of
una,
the
hay
company, number
formas
one,
donde la
there
gente
are
tiene el
ways in
producto y
which
no
people have
sabemos la
product
calidad
and
del
they don't know
producto
the
que esa
quality of the
persona, no
product
sabemos
that
si
that
estaba
person has.
el
We don't know
parche en el
if
sol
the
las
patch was
últimas
under the sun
tres
during the
semanas
last three
y
weeks, for
ahí
example,
están en el garaje o lo que
and
sea, no
or in the
sabemos la
garage,
condición del
whatever. We don't
producto.
know the
Entonces, esa
conditions
es
in which they
una.
have the product. So
Cuando
that's number
uno
one.
compra a través de la empresa de
Also,
la
when you
forma
buy
correcta, están
from the
recibiendo el
company in the
producto
correct way, you know you're
directamente de la
receiving the
empresa. Saben que
product
va a ser
directly
la
from
calidad
the
más
company. You
alta
know it's
del
going to be the
producto.
highest quality of the product.
Segundo, hay gente que
Number
han
two,
encontrado formas que tratan de manipular y
there are
vender el producto
people who have
más
found
barato
ways to
de lo que
manipulate and
la
sell the
empresa
product
tiene
cheaper than what the
disponible a
company
través de
has
ustedes, nuestros
available
socios. Queremos
through
asegurarnos
our
que la gente esté
distributors, our
vendiendo
brand
o
partners. So
que
we
esté
want to
comprando
make
el
sure
producto en el
that people
precio
are
que corresponde.
purchasing product in the
Entonces, plataformas
corresponding
como
price.
eBay,
So
yo puedo
platforms,
poner
for example, like eBay,
el X39 lo pongo por
I
$1 y yo dejo que
can
la gente vaya
sell the X39
compitiendo
for
hasta que lleguen
$1
al precio que llegue al
and
final del
I
día.
let people
Y
to
eso no es la
bid
forma que nosotros
for the
queremos
patch until it
mantenernos
arrives to
muy
the price that I want. So
profesional como
that's not
empresa.
how we want
Obvio,
to work.
tenemos
We
nuestra
want to be
mente para el
professional as
futuro,
a company.
seguir
We have our minds obviously
décadas en el
set on the
futuro
future.
y
We want to be
plataformas como
working for
eBay
decades and
y
decades
Amazon.
with our product and platforms
Una
like eBay and Amazon.
quita
Number
la
one,
oportunidad
they take away the opportunity.
hace nuestro producto, ¿cómo se dice? El producto cuando se está
It takes
vendiendo
away
como cualquier
the
cosa.
exclusiveness
Les
of the product when
aviso
you're
que
just
dentro
selling
de
it
las
like any other
siguientes
thing.
2, 3
I
semanas
have
va a
to
haber
let you
un
know that in the
anuncio
next 2 or 3
específicamente
weeks, there's
sobre
going to
Amazon
be an announcement
porque hemos
specifically about
encontrado el
Amazon because
departamento de
we have
cumplimientos
found
trabaja
the
día,
compliance
cada día
department
están
works day and
encontrando
night
personas que
finding
están vendiendo
people
en esas
who
plataformas
are
y ellos van
selling
y
in those
contactan a la
platforms
persona y muchas
and they
veces ya
contact the person and
si
many
encuentran la
times
persona que lo está
if they
haciendo,
find the
han
person who
cancelado
is
su
doing that,
cuenta,
they
han
have
perdido
canceled their
negocio
account,
entero
they've lost
porque
their
lo
whole
están haciendo de
business
esa forma.
because
Va a
they're
haber un
selling
anuncio que les aviso
that
en el
way.
momento, no
So
tengo
there's going
los
to be an
detalles
announcement. I don't
exactos,
have the details
pero va a haber
exactly right
que
now,
todo el mundo va a
but there
estar
is going
enterado
to be an announcement and everybody is
específicamente
going
sobre
to know
Amazon
specifically
porque
about
hemos
Amazon
encontrado la
because
solución
we have
para
found the
quitar toda la gente
solution
que
to
está
be able
revendiendo el
to
producto en Amazon, porque
eliminate
ya ha
all the
sido un
people
trabajo
who are selling the
muy
product
que
in
ha tomado
Amazon
mucho
because it's
tiempo
been a
de
work,
uno por
a
uno
job that
ir
has taken us very long,
contactando a
one by
Amazon,
one,
removiendo
contacting
esa
Amazon,
venta,
removing
encontrando
that
la persona,
product,
cancelando su
finding the
cuenta. Hemos
person,
encontrado la
canceling their
solución de
account.
eliminar
So we found the
100% las
solution
ventas
of
productos de
eliminating at
Lifewave a
100% the
través de
sales of
personas
Lifewave products
independientes.
through
Entonces,
independent people. So what I've heard is that it's going to be a very exciting announcement because we found the solution that is going to maintain our business at the highest level and protecting our brand partners, making sure that people are purchasing the highest quality product and making sure that it's not taking away our partners from
Hey,
the
Geraldo,
opportunity.
just real sorry, Michelle. Someone asked about Walmart. Walmart's the same. Anybody selling it other than Lifewave, if you're not getting it directly from a brand partner or a customer that's giving you a referral link, it's illegal and the company doesn't you and also you don't know what you're getting. You don't know how long it's been in a garage hot. So there's just no ifs, ands, or buts about them anybody reselling it.
Exacto.
Exactly.
Páginas como eBay,
Web
Amazon,
pages like
Mercado
eBay,
Libre,
Amazon,
en otros
Mercado
países que
Libre
hay,
in other countries, in
Walmart,
Latin countries,
cualquier
Walmart,
de esos sitios que usted
any
puede
of
poner
those
cualquier producto
sites
para
where
vender,
you can
está prohibido por la
upload any
empresa.
product for sales is
Y
forbidden
eso
by
es
the
para
company. And
protegerlos
that is to
a todos nuestros
protect
socios y nuestra
all our
empresa a
brand
largo plazo.
partners and our company in the long term.
Okay. Jay, I think the next
Jay,
question is the same thing. No, because it's
No,
the
no,
same
no, no.
answer.
Because so the reason I added this in is because I've had people ask me if they can create their own website and sell it through their website. So I want to, that's why. So I mean, I can, if you want to just, we can go every other one or whatever, but that's the reason. Because I had someone say that they want to create a website and actually distribute from their website. So if they want to buy 20 and then distribute it themselves and create a website.
Muy buena pregunta,
that's a
Jay.
very good
Entonces,
question,
en
Jay,
las políticas de
actually.
la
In the
empresa, obvio,
policies
nuestro
of
enfoque
the
es
company,
nosotros como
obviously,
empresa
our
darles a
focus
ustedes
as a
las
company is to
herramientas,
give you the
darles las
tools,
plataformas que pueden
give
usar
you
para
the platform
compartir
that
el
you can
producto
use to be able to share
y,
the
obvio,
product,
crecer el equipo,
and
tener más clientes,
obviously
tener
grow as a
más
team to have more
socios
clients,
uniéndose al equipo.
more brand
Lo
partners
importante de esto es que
joining
el
the team.
departamento de
The important
cumplimientos
thing
está
is
ahí
that the
para
compliance department
orientarnos
is
y
here to
ayudarnos y
give us
saber
orientation
que
and to
estamos
help
haciendo
us
las cosas
in knowing that
correctamente.
we're doing things
En este
correctly.
caso
Okay?
estamos hablando
So
de
in
una
this
página
case,
web,
we're
pero
talking
también
about
lo
a web
es tener
page that I'm also going to
a
extend this to
materiales,
different
ciertas cosas que están
resources
representando la empresa.
or
Yendo a través del
commodities that
departamento de
represent the
cumplimiento,
company.
siempre
Going through
les
the
digo, siempre
compliance
va a ser un
department, I
buen
always have to
paso.
say it's
Si
always going to
tienen
be the good
dudas o si
first
tienen
step. If you
preguntas
have any
sobre puedo
doubts
hacer
or
esto, puedo
any
no hacer
questions
esto,
if you can do or not do
qué puedo
something,
poner, qué no puedo
what can
poner.
I
En
put
este
here or
caso,
what should I
cuando se
not put
hablan de
here?
páginas
In this
web,
case, when you
siempre
talk
es
about web
importante
pages,
contactar
it's
al
always
departamento de
important to
cumplimientos y
contact the
decir,
compliance
mira, estoy
department and
creando
say,
una
okay, look,
página
I'm creating
para
a
compartir,
web
para,
page
digamos, con mis
to
seguidores, yo
share
tener un
with my
enlace
followers,
donde
to
puedo
have a
enviar a
link
mis
where
clientes.
I can
Pero lo
send my
importante es
customers
el
to.
departamento de
Now,
cumplimientos
the important thing is that the Department of
están muy
Compliance
enfocados en que
is
usemos
very
nuestra
focused
propia
in us
página cuando es
using our
posible.
own web page
Sabemos cuando
whenever it's
empieza a crecer un
possible.
equipo muy
We know
grande
that when a
que
team
tiene
starts
que haber
growing
alguna forma
very,
que el
very
equipo
big, there
pueda
has to
unirse,
be a
tener
way that the
sus
team has to be
materiales de
united with
entrenamiento y
their
eso en
training
general.
tools and material. And
Siempre
we
es bueno
understand that.
contactar al
It's
departamento de
always good
cumplimientos y
to
decir,
contact the
tengo una
compliance
página web,
department and to say,
puedo
hey,
hacer
I
esto,
have
no
a
puedo
web
hacer
page.
esto.
Can I do this or can I not
En
do
este
this?
caso
Now, in
específico que
this case
pregunta Jay
specifically that you're asking,
¿puedo
Jay,
yo, Haroldo, tener una
can
página,
I,
digamos,
Haroldo,
haroldo.com
have a web page
y
like
poner
haroldo.com?
fotos del
And can
producto, poner ahí
I
el
show pictures
precio
of the
y yo
product with the price? And
directamente la gente
I
comprar mi
directly, can
producto a
people
través de la
purchase my
página?
product through
En
my
ese
page?
caso no se
In
puede.
that case, no,
Lo que
you
sí se
can't
puede
do that.
hacer
But what you
cuando
can
uno tiene
do
una página que fue
when you
autorizada por la
have
compañía,
a web
siempre es
page that
bueno
was authorized by
recibir
the
el
company, it's
thumbs up,
always
como
good to
decimos,
first
del
receive the
departamento
thumbs
de
up from the
cumplimientos.
Department of
Entonces, si
Compliance.
usted
Okay,
les
first step.
envían el
So
enlace
if you
al
send
departamento de
someone, if you
cumplimientos
send the
y
link
dicen,
to the
hey, esta
compliance
es
of
mi
department and you
página,
say,
está
look,
todo
this is my
bien, que
web
todo está
page, is
allá,
everything okay? What should
pero
I
la
change?
compañía, ellos van a
The
ayudarlos,
company
pero
is going
en
to
la
help you.
mayor,
But in most of
en
the
casi el grupo
cases,
entero,
in most of the whole
realmente no
group,
van a ser tantas personas que van a
it's
tener la
not going to be
necesidad de
so
ir y
many people
gastar
who are
dinero en
going to
tener
have the
una
need to
página.
spend
Nosotros
money
como
in having a
empresa
web
les
page.
damos a ustedes su
As a
propia
company,
página,
we
entonces
give you
siempre
your
vamos a
own web
decir
page. So we're always going to say we recommend you to maximize our webpage. But if the company does authorize you to have your own web page, what the company does recommend is that you just have to put the link where people can purchase the product on your page. So you can't send it individually from your page. I can have the product, for example, if I was going to do it independently, I can have the X39 product. I can send also sell a bottle of water. I can sell a cell phone. I can sell a lot of things on the web page. The company doesn't allow that to happen, but what you can do is you can put a link and you can say, click here, and that link brings you directly to your Lifewave page, like a landing page. That is what the company has allowed for you to do, knowing that the enrollment of the brand partner or the purchase of the client is being done directly through the Lifewave page. So if you have your own web page authorized, just make sure that you have a link that directs your customers to your Lifewave page so they can purchase. I hope that answered the question.
That was great.
Yes,
Es lo que acaba de decir
Carolina de Luque, that is what Haroldo just said. You can put a link that takes you directly to the Lifeway page as a landing page. Now they're asking about the profiles of the account of Instagram and Facebook that you use a link directly. Yes. Now,
¿Tú querías decir algo,
when
Jay?
we talk,
You wanted
Jay,
to
you wanted to say something? Sorry.
Jay? No?
You
Okay, okay.
you just said exactly. It's like a link tree or anything else. It's the same exact thing. Yeah.
Well, that's why you're my mentor, right?
Por eso
That's
eres
why
mi.
Okay, sobre esto
That's why you're
de
my mentor.
compartir,
So about
podemos compartir, por ejemplo,
sharing, we
ese es el
can
punto
share,
que
for example,
menciona,
because I know there's
cuando
people that this
ponemos,
works for them.
queremos atraer personas a la
When
oportunidad.
we want to
Compartir
attract
lo que
people to the
ganamos
opportunity,
es
we
algo que
can
se puede
share
poner en social
what
media
we
porque yo he visto
earn. Can we
personas que
do
lo
that on
quieren
social
saber,
media?
es posible,
Because I've
aunque
seen
a lo
that. Is
mejor
that possible?
ocultes la cantidad que
Even though
ganaste o
sometimes
no sé, de
you
alguna
might not
manera se
say the
puede hacer o
exact
eso
amount,
definitivamente no se puede
or
hacer.
is that something that you can do?
Nosotros como empresa tenemos, muy
As a
buena pregunta,
company,
Rachel.
that's a very good
Tenemos
question, Rochelle.
lo que llamamos en inglés un income
We
disclosure
have
statement.
what we
El
call an
income disclosure
income
statement se puede
disclosure
traducir
statement.
básicamente un
The income
resumen
disclosure
de los
statement basically
ingresos en
is a
general
summary
por
of
rama.
general
Eso es
income
algo que nosotros
divided
queremos
in the
que la
different
gente pueda ir y
areas,
vea,
okay?
ah,
This
en
is
tal
something that people
rango, ¿qué
can
es el
go and
promedio de lo
see
que la gente
divided
gana
by
en este
ranks.
rango?
Okay, in this
Si uno
rank,
quiere
what is
saber
the
si alguien
average
viene
that
y dice,
people
ah,
earn?
mi nivel
If somebody wants to
de
know, okay,
director
at the level
senior,
of senior
el
director,
senior
for example,
director, ¿cuánto gana el promedio? Ahí,
how much
eso
do
es
they
un
earn as an
documento
average?
oficial de la
That is an
empresa que está
official
aprobado por
document
la
of
empresa
the
que se puede
company that
mostrar
was
si
approved
quieren
by the
ver
company
ciertos
that you can
números
show if you
y
want to
tener una
see
idea de lo que se
certain
gana en los
numbers and have an
distintos
idea
rangos.
of what
Ahí,
these different
genial,
ranks earn
cuando les
as an
recomiendo
average.
siempre,
Okay,
cuando tengan un
that's
documento
great.
oficial
When
de la
you have an
empresa,
official
van
document
a saber
of
que
the
es un
company, I
documento
recommend you
aprobado, que
to
ellos han hecho todo lo
know
que han tenido que
that that
hacer
is a good one because it's been
para
approved and
aprobar
authorized and
ese
everything that
documento y
has to be
saber que no
done
nos
for
vamos
that
a meter en
document to
problemas con ninguna
be
agencia
legal
del
for you
gobierno.
to not get into
Con eso
problems with the
dicho, para
government
preguntar
agency. Now,
responder tu
having said
pregunta,
this, and to
Rachel,
answer to
cuando
your
hablamos
question, Rochelle,
de la
when we
oportunidad
talk
del
about
dinero,
the
es
opportunity of
sumamente
the money,
importante,
it is
obvio, no poner
crucially important, obviously,
cifras, dice en
to
español.
write down
Hablo portugués también,
digits.
de vez en cuando
Sorry,
se
I'm
me
also
enredan las
speaking
palabras.
Portuguese and
No
sometimes I
podemos
mix
poner
all
cifras,
languages.
no
You have
poner
to put
números exactos, eso es algo evita.
exact digits. You have to avoid
No
putting an
podemos ir
exact number, an
prometiendo,
exact
por
amount.
ejemplo,
We
es
can't
muy fácil de
promise.
venir y decir, ah,
For
mira,
example,
estoy en
it's
el
very
negocio
easy
seis
to
meses
come
y
and say,
aquí
"Oh, look, I've
manejando
been
mi
in the business
Lamborghini, la vida,
for
porque
6 months, and now
está
I'm
en
in my
inglés,
Lamborghini,
¿cómo
and
se puede
life is
decir la
easy."
palabra
How could you
entice?
say that
Estamos
it's
básicamente
entice?
de cierta,
Basically,
no forma muy
in a way,
honesta, estamos,
we're not
pues cada
being
mundo va a
very
tener
honest because
sus
everybody
propios
is going to
resultados. Sí,
have their
tenemos
own
gente en nuestra
results.
empresa que ha
Yes,
crecido muy
there are
rápido,
people in our
pero
companies who
eso
have
puede
grown
ser, no
very
puede ser,
quickly,
no va a ser el caso para
but
todo el
that is not
mundo.
going to be
Entonces
the
ellos
case
quieren
for
que se
everyone.
mantenga un
So
nivel
they want
profesional
their
y
to be a
parejo para
professional
todos.
level
¿Qué es lo que podemos
between all
decir?
of us.
Por
Now, what
ejemplo,
can we say? Okay. For example,
recientemente, no
recently,
sé, quiero ver por si
I
acaso, sé
don't know.
que
I
tenemos
want
casi
to
200
see
personas,
this
pero
just in
si
case. I
pueden
see that
levantar la
we're
mano, me
almost 200
encantaría
here,
ver
but if you could
quién
raise your hand,
pudo
please,
calificar
I
para el
would
viaje
like
a
to know
Punta
who could
Mita. Sí, me
qualify for the
encantaría ver
Punta
eso muy
Mita trip. Okay.
rapidito,
I would
sí.
like to see that
Estoy viendo ahí
very
algunas
fast.
manos ya subiendo
Okay. I'm
aquí.
seeing a few
Excelente, ok.
hands raised here. Okay. Excellent.
Ganar un viaje.
So earning a trip, for example, earning a trip has been something that organizations like the FTC say we cannot say that we earn a trip, but you can qualify for a trip. Okay, that is already well said. That is a way to show how you are progressing in the company. If I say, look, I received my official invitation because I qualified for a trip and I worked towards it. And that way we can say, if I say I earned, the word earning or winning in English, or I received it for free, those are words that they don't want you to use because, again, in our case, in Punta Mita, there are people who qualified, for example, for 100 points. 100 points, okay, amazing. Yes, they earned, no, not earned, they received the qualification for a room, but they have a reimbursement until $450 for one person because the room was for two. So basically, the second person does need to pay their ticket if they don't get the 140 points. So it wasn't 100% for free. Okay, so there is where we have to have a lot, where we have to be really careful with the words that we choose. I qualified for a trip, I worked and I earned the points, or I saved points to be able to participate in a trip. That's okay. But when we're talking about money, we cannot give amounts. We cannot create an illusion of success, let's say it in a way, when for most of the people, it is not going to make everybody, not everybody is going to be driving their Lamborghini. So this has to be something equal for everybody when we talk about money and things like that. I hope that answered the question. Yes, we
So,
have to be careful
Rochelle,
because
so,
we
oh,
can't
sorry.
guarantee anything. Go, 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 Jay.
So,
Thanks.
so I just see other direct sales companies talking about income and then they post the income disclaimer. So are we allowed to do that, Haroldo? Like, are we allowed to say, hey, I'm making this money, but here's an income disclaimer? Because I mean, there's so many companies out there like Pharmacy and Monet and all these companies, Herbalife, posting what they're making, to kind of, show people what's possible. But then they also have an income disclaimer in the social media saying this is not possible for everybody else. Are we allowed to do that at Lifewave?
Sabes que esa es una muy
You know
buena
what? That's a
pregunta,
really good
Jay, y
question, Jay.
nunca me han preguntado
Nobody
esa
has ever
pregunta, si te
asked me
puedo
that
poner
if you can
el,
have
el
uh,
documento y
the
decir
document
eso.
of what you earned and then
Sé que
put the
tenemos algunas
disclaimer.
otras preguntas.
I
Le
know
voy a
that
mandar
we
un
have a few
mensaje
more
directo
questions. Let
ahora
me
al
send a
Departamento de
direct message
Cumplimiento.
right
Estoy
now to
sobre
the
todo
compliance department
mis
about
queridos
this because
compañeros
they are
quizás están
my
atentos.
amazing colleagues that
Déjame,
are
voy a hacer esa
always
pregunta
paying attention to
esa
what's
pregunta
going
para
on. So
tener
let me ask them a
100% la
question to be
respuesta,
100% sure
porque
about
sé,
that
como
answer
dices tú, Jay,
because I
las
know, like you
empresas,
said, Jay,
hay ciertas cosas que hacen
that
diferentes,
in the
pero todo
companies there
mundo,
are
por lo
different
que yo
things,
sé en la industria,
different
está tratando de
strategies, but I know that
alinearse
everybody
en
in the
hacer,
industry is trying to be
estar bien
aligned
parejos
in
en este tipo
being all
de
in the
cosas.
same
Entonces,
page with
si
these
está bien,
kinds of
quiero
things.
responder la pregunta, no solo
So
quiero
I would
decirla
like to
porque es la
answer the
primera vez que me han
question
preguntado
correctly because
esa
this is the first time
pregunta,
somebody has
pero te
asked
voy a
me this
conseguir la
question.
respuesta antes
So
que
let
termine
me
esta
get that
llamada, si está
answer
bien.
before this call is over. Is that so? If that's okay.
Me encanta,
Yes.
me encanta. Eso está bien. Claro, porque estás
I
mostrando la
love that. I
evidencia
love that.
de
Yes,
parte de la
because you're
compañía
showing
y eso
evidence
no
from
es
the company
algo que está
directly. So
solamente
it's
dicho
not
por
something
otros.
that you're just saying
Ahora,
verbally.
Harold, en
Okay.
lo que yo sé que estás enviando
So
el texto y en lo que envías el texto
Horaldo, sorry. While
visualmente,
you're sending that
ustedes
text,
están
I'll start
diciendo,
answering
se
to these
venden en
questions, okay?
Instagram, lo
Remember,
venden
you're
por
saying
Amazon, lo
they
venden
sell it
por
in
eBay.
TikTok, they
Recuerden,
sell
entonces
them
por
in
eso no
Amazon, they
están
sell them
subiendo
in
nada.
eBay. Remember,
Esto
that is why this
es
call is
estar en
important.
cumplimiento
This
con la
is what
compañía que
is being
nosotros
in
representamos,
compliance with the company that
porque
we
eso decidimos
represent,
nosotros,
because
de
this is what we
representar
decided to
Lifewave y su
represent
cumplimiento.
Lifewave
Entonces, que
and their
otros estén haciendo
compliance.
cosas que
So,
no
if
deben hacer,
others
eso
are
no
doing things
significa que
that they
nosotros lo
should
vamos a
not do,
repetir,
it does not mean that we
porque
are going to repeat
está
that
bien.
because we
Entonces,
want to
todo
do
eso que
what
están
is
diciendo mal,
correct.
ok,
So,
podemos
everything that they're
meternos
doing
a esa
incorrectly, okay,
plataforma
let's
para
focus on the
revisarla,
correct
para
way of doing things.
chequearla,
That's why
para
this call
cumplir
is for.
y
That's
repetir
what
lo que
this
la
call is
compañía
for,
nos está
to
diciendo
check
que,
and
que
to
se debe
repeat
hacer.
what the company
Entonces,
is
si
doing
lo
that
están
we should
haciendo,
do.
ya se sabe que son
So, if
groseros.
they're
Los
already doing it,
formularios,
you
los
know that you
enlaces,
should
va
not do it
directo a la
unless you
compañía.
put the
Entonces,
link that
hacemos
goes
eso.
directly
Y
to the
ahorita,
company.
al
So, let's
terminar, le
focus on
hacemos
that.
más preguntas
And
sobre las
now, before
testimonios
we
y eso,
finish,
porque
we'll ask more
hay
questions about
algunas. Pero una de
testimonials
las
because I know
preguntas
there's still a
que
few
muchas veces
questions.
repiten
But one of the questions that are mostly repeated
Rochelle, real
is,
quick. Sorry. Not to interrupt you. I was gonna tell people to write their questions in the chat. The people with their hands up, so Lola could gather them and we can get to Geraldo and we could put it on our chats because I don't. We got 15 minutes before your next call, and so I just want to make sure that we get all their questions answered. So Lola, if you could just look in the chat for the questions that might come in from the top six, just so we can make sure we get their question answered and we're able to get to these questions for Geraldo. Sorry, Rochelle, for interrupting you. I just wanted to make sure that we're doing that so we don't miss that.
Tranquilo, estoy de acuerdo.
don't worry, I agree.
¿Cuándo podemos
So,
hablar, Haroldo,
when
abiertamente
Haroldo,
sobre
can
las
we
células
speak
madre?
openly
¿Ya se
about
puede
stem
hablar
cells?
o todavía
Can
no?
we do
¿Qué
this
entonces sí podemos
currently
hablar?
or not yet? And if not, what can we do?
Perdón, una vez, me acaban de mandar la respuesta.
Sorry,
¿Puede
they just
dar la
sent me the
respuesta
answer.
anterior del
I have the
rapidito?
¿Puedo decir
reply.
así
Sí,
de
You
entonces
want to say it?
abiertamente?
Okay, come on, let's go ahead.
dijeron que
They
les gustaría que
said
use
that they
este
would like you
documento
to
lo
use
más
that
posible.
document
Cuando
as
estén
much as
hablando de
possible.
cómo
When
funcionan
you're
las
talking
comisiones,
about how
qué
commissions
puedo
work,
ganar,
what can I
mostrando el
earn,
documento así
always
sí hecho
showing
a
the
nivel digital, como mencionó
document
Jay, que han hecho en otras
like that
empresas,
Jay
aquí también
mentioned
sí se
at a
puede.
digital level,
Estamos, obvio,
like
tratando de
the
evitar
income disclaimer that
que
other
se digan
companies
afirmaciones
show. So
así
this is something that
exageradas,
we
porque pues
also
obvio
want to do. We
con
want
ese
to avoid
documento van
exaggerated
a estar
affirmations. So with
protegidos
that
y me
legal
dieron
disclaimer, you will
la
be
aprobación.
protected. And they gave
Entonces,
me the
ya tenemos
approval
la
for that.
respuesta.
So we have the
So,
answer.
so Geraldo, just one more question. Sorry. What people do on social media a lot, and just to be specific, is they'll post, a video or whatever, and they'll put the income disclaimer in the comment section where they'll write their what do you call it, Rochelle? Not the comments, but your when you write in the your post. What is that called? When
En
you
el store o el feed, en el
The
feed,
feed?
en
in
el,
the
In
en
the
el
in the
feed?
feed and or on the stories, they'll put like an income disclaimer. Maybe not the sheet, but they'll put an income disclaimer so that it's like in the corner in a black box with white letters saying this is not that doesn't pertain to everybody. I just want to be specific because I think there's so many companies out there doing that right now that is drawing people in, and I feel like the message to Lifewave is you can't post anything. You can't talk about it with about anything. So I would just love to get the specifics of like if we do a post, a feed, can I write it in my feed? Or if I do a story, can I write it and put a little tag on the story saying this is the income disclaimer, even if it has a link that goes to it, or even if it's on the second page in the feed where if they scroll to the page, the income disclaimer, a photo of it would be there. I just want to be specific because I just feel like we're missing a huge boat not being able to talk about what we're doing and as long as we put that income disclaimer that the FTC wants to see.
Sí, con el aviso,
Yes,
sí,
with
ahora
the
respondemos
disclaimer.
en español. Sí, con
I'm
el
answering
aviso
in
lo que me
Spanish
han
now.
dicho
With the
es,
disclaimer, what they've
quieren
said
que usen ese documento
is
lo
that
más
they want
posible.
you to
Obvio,
use
es un
that document as
documento
much as
grande, entonces
possible.
publicarlo
Obviously,
así
it's a
es
big
distinto, como
document, so
mencionó Jay. Hay
posting
una forma que
everything
la
is
gente
different. But
tenga
like Jay
acceso
mentioned,
a
if
eso
there's
y
a way
decir,
that
mira,
people can have access to that,
estamos trabajando aquí en
saying,
Lifewave,
look, we're working
tenemos
here
gente
in
creciendo
Lifewave, we
en
have
los
people
distintos rangos,
growing in the
hagan
different
clic aquí
ranks. Click
para ver
here to
exactamente el
see
documento de
exactly
ingresos
the
de la empresa
document
oficial
of
para
the
que
official
tengan
document of
mejor
income from
idea
the
de lo que
company, so you
la
have a
gente
better
está
idea
generando aquí en
of what
Lifewave.
people are
De esa
generating
forma sería
in
una
income here
forma
in Lifewave. So
buena de
that would be a
hacerlo,
good way
pues
of doing
dando,
that.
obvio que la gente entienda
Obviously, people need to
que
understand
todo el mundo es
that
distinto, ¿verdad? Entonces, a
everybody's
través
different,
de
okay?
tener una frase así,
So through
ayuda a
having
proteger
a phrase
que la
like this one, it
gente,
helps
nosotros
you
en todos nuestros
protect.
eventos,
And for
siempre
us, in all
aparece esa
our
frase
events,
ahí para
we
proteger la
always show
empresa,
that
igual como ustedes
phrase.
pueden usar esa
We can
frase
protect the
para
company the
protegerlos
same
a
way that
ustedes
you can
también
use it
y
to
enviar
protect
a la
you too,
gente a los
and to
documentos
send
oficiales
people
de
to
la
those
empresa.
official documents of the company.
Ok, te repito entonces ahora la pregunta de las
Okay, let
células
me
madres.
repeat the
¿Cuándo
question of
podemos
the
hablar
stem cells.
de si esto ya
When
se
can we
puede
start
o
to
para
talk?
cuándo
Can we
o qué
already start
sí
to talk about
podemos
stem
decir?
cells, or for when, or what is it that we can say about stem cells?
Muy buena pregunta, Rachel.
That is a great
Tuve una
question,
reunión
Rochelle. I had
justamente
a
ayer con
meeting
el equipo
precisely
ejecutivo
yesterday with
y
the
parte del
executive team.
equipo que estaba
And
ahí
part of the
ayer era
team
nuestro
who was there yesterday
vicepresidente
was
mundial de
our
marketing,
world
se
our
llama Wayne
marketing
Moorhead, muy buena gente.
global
Él ha estado
vice
trabajando
president,
con
and we went
David
for
y
him.
yo
He's a
estamos
really
muy,
good,
muy
nice
cerca en
person.
este
He's
momento
been
de
working very
darnos
closely to David And
la
he's really close
actualización
right
de lo que
now to
vamos a
giving
poder
us an
decir
update
lo
of
que
what we are
con
going to
células
be able to
madres
say
va a
about
volver.
stem cells and so
Van a
on.
haber ciertas
You
cosas
are
que tenemos
going
que
to see that there are a
mantenernos
few things that we
dentro
still have
de
to
unos
maintain
parámetros, pero
inside
digo que
some
sí, esto
parameters,
va a estar
but
volviendo muy pronto. Obvio que
he
acabamos de
will be
lanzar
giving
nuestro
this
producto
announcement
nuevo,
very
Seller Drive, y
soon.
eso ha sido una parte
Uh,
también para
we also
ayudarnos
have that new
en poder
seller drive product, which is
regresar
also going to
ciertas
be helping
frases,
us to
pero
be able
desde
to use
ayer
a
o
few
justamente ayer
phrases.
tuve esa reunión
But
y tengo
since
que estar
yesterday, or
muy
precisely
cerca
yesterday,
ahora
we had
para
that meeting
darnos
and we're very
esa,
close right now
lo que podemos decir, no
to
decir con células
see
madres
what it is
y
that we can say about
básicamente
stem cells. And
nos va a abrir las
basically, it's
puertas
going to
para
open the
atraer muchas
doors
más personas
to be able
a
to
Lifewave.
attract
Entonces
many
dijeron
more
que no,
people
no
to
falta mucho
Lifewave.
tiempo
So they said
y
that
eso fue
it's
desde
not long,
ayer
it
con
won't be
el equipo
long. And that was
ejecutivo.
yesterday that
Entonces,
they said,
denos
talked about
algunos
that
días
with the
más
executive
y
team.
ya me
So
imagino vamos
give
a
us a
tener
few more
esto en
days, and I
mano para
imagine that
todos
we're going
ustedes.
to have this at hand for all of you.
Don't get too happy. Don't post it yet.
Está bien.
What
Y vamos a darles los parámetros
And we're going to give
actualizados.
you the
Obvio,
updated
en el momento
parameters.
lo que estamos hablando es
Obviously,
lo que está
at the moment, what we're talking
mismo,
about
pero
is what we
van
have
a ver
until
con
today,
esas
updated until today.
actualizaciones,
But you're
van a
going
ver
to see
parámetros
that there's going to
bien
be
claros que ustedes
very
van a poder
clear
seguir
parameters in those updates that
yendo en
you're going to
adelante
be able
después
to
que se
follow
haga el
from now
anuncio.
onward after the announcement.
All right, Haroldo, what is the yearly renewal fee and what happens if you don't pay it?
Ok, esa es muy buena pregunta,
Okay,
Jay,
that's a very
porque
good
es algo que
question, Jay,
empezó
because this is something
recientemente
that
hace
recently
meses.
started six
Para
months
que
ago.
tengan idea, la compañía
And
ya
for you
lleva
to have
20
an idea, the
años
company
en
has
la
been
industria.
in the industry
Y el
for
año
20
pasado fue
years.
la primera
And
vez que
last year was
actualizamos
the first
oficialmente
time that
donde
we
requerimos
officially
a
updated
nuestros
the
socios
requirement
actualizar que
of
están
our business
aceptando
partners to
las
update that
políticas
they
de la
are
empresa.
accepting the
Como
policies of the
empresa, obvio,
company.
dijimos, tenemos que
As a
nosotros como
company,
empresa estar
obviously, we said
protegidos
that
y
as a
nuestros socios
company,
estar
we have to be
protegidos también y
protected, and
también
our
estar
partners
informados
have to be
qué son
protected,
las
and they also
políticas de
have
la
to be
empresa,
informed on
porque
what the
puede
company's
ser que a cada
policies
6
are,
meses
because
hagan una
maybe every six
actualización
months there might be an
que
update
hasta el año pasado
that
no se
until
había
last year we didn't,
hecho. Nuestros socios de 15, 20 años atrás
our
no habían
brand partners from
aceptado
15 and
las
20 years
políticas
ago
nuevas de
had
la
not
empresa.
accepted the new
Entonces, lo
policies of the
que para
company.
mantenerlos a
So
un
to be able
nivel
to
parejo
maintain
con la industria,
ourselves at
lo que estamos
the
haciendo
same
ahora
level
con
as the rest of the
lo que
industry,
llamamos el
what
renewal
we're
fee
doing now
o
with what was called the
lo que
renewal
estamos haciendo
fee, or
anualmente es
what
que
we're
están
doing yearly,
renovando
is that we are
su
renewing
membresía, podemos decir,
their
o renovándose
membership,
como
or
socios de Lifewave,
renewing as
están aceptando
Lifewave
las
partners. They are
políticas para el
accepting the
siguiente año de la
policies for the
empresa
next
para
year of the
asegurarse que
company
estén al día
to
y que
make sure
todo
that
el
they
mundo
are
esté a un
updated
nivel
and for
parejo
everybody to
en
be at the
relación a las
same
políticas.
level in
Pero la gente
relationship
dice,
of the
Roldo, ¿por qué
to the
solo no puedo
policies. But people
firmar un
say,
documento
Araldo, why
y
can't I
ya
not
decir,
just
mira, estoy listo,
sign a
estoy
document and say,
aceptando
look,
las
I've
políticas? ¿Por qué
accepted
me
the
tienen que cobrar
policies. Why do
$25?
they have to charge me
Bueno, en
$25
relación
for
a
that?
eso,
Well,
la
okay,
renovación al año, los dos
the
objetivos es
yearly
una,
renewal has two
aceptar las
objectives. One of
políticas de la
them
empresa
is
para el
to
siguiente
accept the
año y
policies of the
dos,
company
es
for the
para
next year.
renovar
And the second
nosotros
one
como
is to
socios con
renew
Lifewave. Hay
as
gente que durante los
Lifewave
años
business
15, 20
partners.
años
There
que
are people that during the 15 or
entraron al
20
negocio y
years
quizás
since they started in the
no
business,
hicieron
maybe
mucho,
they
ya
didn't do
pasaron 10,
a
15
lot.
años, no han hecho
Maybe it's been
nada.
10 or 15
Entonces,
years
una
since then
forma
and
que
they
la
haven't done
compañía
anything.
sabe
So
que
one of the
vas a
ways that the
seguir con
company knows that you are
nosotros
going to
el
continue
siguiente
with
año,
us during the next
¿qué es lo que
year.
hacemos con esos
What do we
$25?
do
No,
with
no
those
es que la compañía
$25?
quiere
It's not
decir,
that the
mira,
company wants to
$25
say,
cada
oh,
persona lo voy a poner en
$25
el
per
bolsillo.
person, I'm going
Pero
to
lo que
put that
estamos
in my
haciendo es
pocket. But what
reinvirtiendo
we're
ese
doing is
dinero a la
reinvesting that
compañía. Por
money
ejemplo,
in the
si
company.
nosotros vamos a abrir
So, for
nuestro propio
example, if we're
negocio,
going to open our
estoy
own
abriendo una
company,
tienda, digamos,
I'm opening, for
a cada año
example,
yo
a
tengo
store.
que renovar con el
Each year, I
gobierno,
need to
tengo que
renew with
renovar
the government.
yo como
I need to
empresa
renew
con
as a
el gobierno.
company.
Pero obvio,
I need to
lo
renew
que
myself
cobran
as a
es
company with
carísimo
the government, but
y
obviously what
sé que
the
hay mucha
government
gente
charges you
independiente
is
que tiene
very
sus
expensive.
negocios,
And I
pero
know
son
there's a lot of
niveles
people
muy
here who
altos.
are entrepreneurs
Nosotros
with their
como
businesses.
empresa, ¿qué estamos
Those are very
haciendo?
high
Cuando uno
levels. As a
entra al
company, what
negocio
are we doing?
como socio,
When
les
we
estamos
enter
dando
the
su
business
página web
as
de Life,
a
mencioné
brand
anteriormente, van a tener
partner,
su
we give them
propia
their own
página.
web page. Like we
Nosotros
mentioned, they're going
nos
to have their own web
encargamos
page. And as a company, we are in charge of investing and spending the money to update the web page to always make sure that it's improving. And I want to let you know that we're in a very important project in our list this year is to have a completely new web page. We've been working on this during the whole year. So be looking out for it because towards the end of the year, we're going to start announcing the new page. Our virtual office, each one of you as brand partners, you have your own virtual office. Those are the expenses where we are investing to be able to renew as partners in the business. And that way the company can continue investing in improving the web page, improving the virtual office, because imagine having a business that can be a business that is going to generate a very good income in the future. Nevertheless, having a $25 investment, $25 investment will allow us as a company to improve at a technological level and support for all of you.
Oh, y la última parte de la pregunta, ¿qué
Oh,
sucede
and the
si,
last part
qué
of the
sucede si no
question,
hacen la
what happens
renovación?
if you
¿Cuál
don't
sería?
renew?
Si no
Okay, I
hacen,
almost forgot about
cuando
the
estén
second part of the
llegando a
question.
su aniversario
When
de
you
un
are
año y
reaching
en
your
el
first
aniversario de cada
anniversary
año,
and each anniversary
a
in
un
the
mes
company,
antes se les va a empezar a
one
mandar
month
una
before, they're going to
comunicación
start
diciendo,
sending
hey, está
you
llegando el
a
periodo de
notification saying, hey, your
renovación
renewal
y les va,
period
y les va dando ese
is
anuncio.
upcoming. And
También
you're
cuando
going
entren
to
a la
receive
oficina
that
virtual, en la
notification
parte de
also
arriba va a
when you
decir, hey,
access
está
your
llegando tu
virtual office on
fecha
the top.
de
There's going
renovación.
to be a warning, hey, your renewal date is
Por
coming
favor,
up.
les suplico
Please, please,
que
please,
quédense
I beg
atentos a esa
you
fecha.
to
Todo lo que tiene que hacer es
pay
entrar,
attention and look
hacer
out for
clic
that
en el
date. The only
enlace
thing
y
you have to
pueden
do
renovarse de
is
esa
to
forma,
enter your
pagan
webpage,
los
click on the
25
link, and you can
dólares,
renew
aceptan las
paying
políticas para el siguiente
$25. You
año
accept the
y están
policies
bien
for the
hasta el
next
año que
year.
viene.
And
Pero
if
han habido
everything
personas que han
goes
perdido la
well
cuenta,
until the
han
year
perdido
after
categoría
that.
como
But there are people
socio
who
y
have
han
lost their
bajado
account.
a
They've lost their
categoría de
category
cliente porque están
of
comprando
a
producto,
brand
obvio,
partner to a
en
customer
su periodo
category because they're
mensual, pero se
purchasing
le baja
product,
la
obviously, in their
categoría y gente
monthly
ha perdido su organización
shipment, but
porque no han
they've lost their
renovado. Entonces, por
category and
favor,
they've lost their organization for
suplicación, le
not
estoy
renewing.
suplicando,
So please,
queden
I'm
atentos. Sé
begging
que todo
you,
el mundo en estas
please
llamadas
pay
va a tener que
attention to that. I know
preocuparse
that
hasta
not everybody in this call is
otros
going to need to worry about
cuatro,
this
cinco,
until
seis
maybe
meses
4 or 5 or 6 months
menos,
time at
pero por
least.
favor,
But
atentos porque
please
queremos que
pay
todo el mundo
attention to that because we want
mantenga su
everybody to
negocio
maintain their
en
business
buen estado con la
in a
empresa.
good, healthy state with the company.
Okay, gracias, Haroldo. Jay, it's time because we have
Okay,
an
thanks,
opportunity
Haroldo.
call.
Jay, it's time because we have an opportunity call.
Yeah, I mean, I think the other questions that we were going to ask, I think we could cover maybe in another training call. The only one is Geraldo, if you could just tell us really quickly where we could find the policies and procedures, and maybe Lola could send that out. Maybe if there's a link to the website or something, that would be great. And then we got to go because Rochelle's got an opportunity call right now.
Sí, sí, muy buena pregunta.
Yes, that's a great question, Jay.
Y espero que les vaya genial
I
en
hope
la reunión de
everything goes
oportunidad.
well in the
Lo que tienen
opportunity
que hacer
call.
es
What
entren
you have to
a su
do is
oficina virtual,
access
hacen
your
login.
virtual
En la
office,
parte de arriba a la
log
derecha, en
in the
inglés lo van a
top
ver
at
como
the right. In
resources, en
English, you're
español
going
está
to
como
see it as
recursos.
resources, in
Si hacen
Spanish
clic
as
ahí, le va a
resource,
aparecer una lista
recurso.
de
If you click there, you're
muchas
going to
cosas
see a
y ahí
list,
les va a aparecer
a
las
drop down
políticas
list,
de la
and there you're
empresa.
going to see
De
the
solo hacer
policies
clic.
of the
Ok,
company.
ahí,
There you can click.
excelente,
Yes,
buenísimo, buenísimo.
excellent.
Y si
There it
vamos
is. That was
bajando, va a haber
fast. And if
una
you go
parte
down,
aquí
there's
que
going to be a
dice,
part here,
¿dónde
an area that
está?
says, let's see, where is this? Where is this?
Sé que actualizaron eso
I know that they
recientemente.
renewed this recently.
New member information. Puedes hacer clic ahí, Rachel, a ver.
Let's see, you can click there, Michelle.
Right here.
Oh, ahí
I found it.
aparece el income disclosure statement. Oh,
Okay,
yeah, Jay,
income
you're doing this.
disclosure statement there. Oh,
So ahí
sorry, it's
están
you,
los
right,
policies and
Jay?
procedures,
So
las
there you have
políticas,
policies
y
and
ahí at the very
procedures.
bottom,
And at the
bien
bottom,
abajo está the US
you
disclosure,
have the
earnings
US
disclosure statement. Ahí
disclosure.
está el documento que estuvimos
On
hablando
the
hace
bottom, you
unos
have the
minutos.
document that we're talking about.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Geraldo, for your time. We really, really appreciate it. It was very, very helpful. I know a lot of people got a lot out of this, including me. So thank you for bringing so much clarity to our business. And if you guys ever have any questions, what I would also do and suggest is call customer service, and they can help you with those too. Because if you have a question, or just reach out to one of us, and we can clarify with Geraldo and get that information to you. So thank you guys so much. Rochelle, thank you so much. You're awesome. Everyone have a great night. It's so good to see you guys. Make sure you share this call when we share it out so people will have this information. Okay, you guys? We'll see you guys really soon. Geraldo, thank you so much, man. Sorry we got to go, but Rochelle's got to call right
Bye.
now. Bye
Gracias.
bye.
Gracias. Bye.
Gracias.